Hey, sweet bean! Did you know that a lot of the wild plants that I teach you about eating can also be found at your local international market? That's Saraga. I live in Columbus, Ohio. That's one of our international markets. Let's go and investigate. I love Columbus in the spring. So great. Oh, we found our first forageable friend. I'm so sure I'm going to butcher the Vietnamese pronunciation, but this is Da Pa, otherwise known as the chameleon plant or fish mint. Fish mint is invasive in parts of the United States, but it's also a keystone in a lot of particularly Southern Asian cuisine, and I think it's really tasty in a super cool, fishy, funky kind of way. Fish plant, otherwise known as chameleon plant, or by its scientific name, Hotunia cordata, is becoming quite a scourge here in North America because it is so hard to eliminate without using chemical intervention. Boy, wouldn't it be so great if the entire plant was edible from root to shoot? It is. The entire plant is edible from root to shoot. Right here we have callaloo, as it's better known as a food, but here in the United States we usually just call it amaranth. Amaranth, or as some of the wild varieties are called here in North America, pickweed, is a delicious and nutritious green. But did you also know that you could pop the seeds like wee baby popcorn? They're so cute and they're so tasty. Oh my gosh, here we have guanzotles, and these are like the flowering bits, the seed pods of a chenopodium, which here in the States we call goosefoot or lamb's quarters. Guanzotle is Nahuatl for hairy amaranth. It is a cousin of the amaranth that we were just looking at, but it's also the cousin of quinoa. It unfortunately is another food that is being given the meaningless label of superfood in a lot of communities, which, as much as I love a native plant that is delicious and nutritious getting a shout out, unfortunately, when that happens, like what we saw with quinoa, it tends to lead to a lot of rich people far away from where it actually grows eating it, and people who actually have a historical connection to it having a harder time getting access to it. Here's hoping that doesn't happen. Okay, I know that y'all were expecting mushrooms because of course we have several species of oyster mushroom that growl. We have several species of oyster mushrooms that grow all over the United States, including this guy, the yellow oyster, who is becoming increasingly invasive. So if you find him outside, eat him, please. The mushroom section of Saraga is truly one of my happy places. Oh my god, watercress, y'all. Some of my friends who live on Martha's Vineyard would like gut somebody if they found their watercress spot. Not native here in the US either, but honestly, a lot of people welcome it because it's delicious, and 'tis the season, honestly. My homegirl epazote, I find her growing a lot, especially in cities. I feel like I've seen more epazote growing in New York City than I've seen growing anywhere else. Epazote is magical. Why is it magical? I'll tell you, because when you cook beans with it, the beans make you fart less. Yo, who's gonna tell me that garbanzo beans look so crazy before they get shelled? Oh, verdolagas, one of my favorite volunteers in our garden every year. In English, it's called purslane. They're succulent, they're lemony, they're full of omega-3 fatty acids. We love her. She's amazing pickled, made into kimchi, or just put fresh on sandwiches. That's how I eat her in the summer. There are a couple ornamental purslanes that have like different color flowers, but I find that they don't taste as good as the wild one. I really gotta get to my lotus root spot before they start sprouting for the year. American lotus can be used all the same ways as its Asian cousin. Another invasive we could be eating are the roots of bellflower, which is obviously, as you can tell from the packaging, more popular in Korea than it is here in the States. Why are we not using that as a solution for invasive species more? It drives me crazy. Oh my god, something that I actually want to try when I harvest it, mugwort powder. It makes a really good matcha dupe. I wonder if they process it to make it taste less bitter before they powder it, or if they're just giving you full strength mugwort. Kind of curious. I might buy it. Stop, and right next to the mugwort powder, something else that I make myself, which is acorn powder. So if you're not crazy and you don't want to soak acorns for 2 weeks and then mill them into a fine powder, you have this option. But let me tell you, it's me. I'm crazy, and I think it's fun. Guys, look, it's kelp that I didn't have to fish out of the ocean. I'm telling you, if you guys are trying to live the way that I live without all of the travel and all of the sweat, you could just be going to the international market. Well, hello there, wood ear mushrooms. Funny seeing you outside of the woods. Now, wood ears, or sometimes as they're called, tree jellyfish, are members of the Auricularia genus. All of the members are edible and pretty interchangeable in cuisines. Because the English translation of this literally just says edible green leaves. I want to know whose leaves these are. Oh, I know the employees here hate to see me coming. Guys, look, laver. Which is just another name for nori. We don't have the same species of laver that's in here or that's used in sushi, but the species that we have in North America can be used the same way. Oh my god, I need to shop faster. I gotta get home so I can get to Knitting Circle. Let me take you to my other favorite place, the tea aisle. Once when I was walking through here just moseying, I caught the eye of a very familiar plant. This is Solomon seal. And I was like, surely there cannot be Solomon seal in this tea. There is. That's the type of tea it is. Yeah, here's another one. Polygotinum tea, that's its genus name. Korea's really on it about our native plants and teas because we also have sunchoke tea right here. I wonder if their translation for sunchoke also has to do with farts sometimes, like some of our nicknames do. Oh yeah, here's a familiar friend. I make my own mulberry leaf tea every spring and summer, but if you don't got the time, you got the time to pick up a box. There are actually a lot of really cool studies going on right now about mulberry leaves in regards to insulin resistance and how our body deals with insulin and that it helps, not that it makes it worse. Can you imagine evil mulberry leaves? Ooh, this guy is like super sleepy time. He's got linden and passion flower and valerian, and linden and passion flower you can find all over the United States. There are some really fun historical accounts in France of people using linden tea to get their kids to calm the heck down. Don't drug your kids. I mean, if they want the linden tea, that's fine. Chunks, 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 chunks. A chung is a Korean lightly fermented syrup, usually made by immersing a fruit or an herb of some sort, something that has a good amount of water content on its own, and submerging it in a sweetener of some sort. Some people will just use plain granulated sugar. Some people will submerge it in honey. The natural yeasts on the plant matter will eat at the sugars, up the acidity, which means lowering the pH, and help it be much more shelf stable. A lot of these chungs are used traditionally as health tonics or cough syrups. They're also just a really delicious addition to lots of dishes. I'm having a very good time, but there are a couple too many slimming teas in this aisle for my taste. Let's go somewhere else. The temptation to buy these lotus seeds instead of just cracking open the seeds I already have at home is so strong. I love a Szechuan peppercorn, especially a green Szechuan peppercorn. But did you know that they have a cousin that does all the same things that you can harvest in the States? Actually, I think they have two. Hercules Club and Prickly Ash? Future me, can we fact check this? So I just did some reading up on the Xanthoxylum genus. That's the genus that Szechuan peppercorns belong to, trying to see if there were any species that occur here in North America that I missed. Because the two that I'm the most familiar with, both of which are on the eastern side of the country, are Hercules Club, which is native to the southeast, and American Szechuan peppercorn or prickly ash, which is native more to like the northeastern, midwestern area. It ends up though that once you get Mexico southward, there are a ton of additional members of this genus in the Americas, including yellow prickly ash, which is native to Mexico. So I got some work to do. I got some new species I gotta try. I love how they're a little spicy and they make your tongue go numb. Honestly, one of my favorite spices to cook with. And I love that I can just harvest it here, so I don't have to go and buy it at the store anymore. Young girl loves a deal. One of these coconut milks. If you live somewhere where you can forage your own coconuts, don't talk to me. I'm mad at you. And by mad at you, I mean I'm very jealous. Well, it took until now to get my first red look, so let's go check out, shall we? Well, it wasn't exactly a visit to the woods, but I still had a whole lot of fun. It really kind of puts into perspective that what we always refer to as foraged food and what sometimes gets a little bit of side eye here in the United States, especially, is just food everywhere else. Do you know about any of these that might be growing in your neck of the woods? I'd love to hear about them. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I hope that you had fun and learned something. Happy snacking. Don't die. It's Alexis from the future. I'm here to help Pastor Alexis make this video way better. Yeah, yeah, yeah.